here.
Okay. Okay.
We got 2 exits to go.
Nice.
Anyways, okay, when's this guy coming?
10 minutes. I said 9 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right when I start work.
I'll actually page him right now.
Huh?
I'll page him right now.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
See, oh yeah. Let's lift that up a little bit.
I'm sorry?
Can Can you lift up your shirt a little more? Let's see what it says.
Oh
Nice. Fitting.
yeah. Oh yeah.
How long have you had
I
that?
I get stopped. I get stopped all the time when I wear this. I wore it at an airport one time, and some like guy from Belarus like stopped me and asked me about it.
Did he seem a little bit?
Another day,
Did he seem a little bit pissed off or what?
he was not. He was just disappointed that I didn't know Russian.
Yeah,
Day like someone stopped me and offered to buy me a beer because I was wearing it.
yeah. Nice. Have you had it long?
Oh what?
Have you had it long?
I gotta turn up here.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had your shirt long? Ben? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'll turn my fan off. So anyway, I won't ask the same question for a fourth time. Okay. So what have you been up to the last few months?
Honestly, not much.
No?
So look, I mean, it's been a lockdown in Ohio for a very long time. They recently started sending me back to work. But
Where
outside of that,
where is work?
I work at a sports bar.
How do you find that?
My mother knew someone who worked there, so
Oh no. How do you find
Net-
how do you find the job?
yeah, my mother got me
No,
that job.
Like how do you enjoy it though?
Oh shit, yeah, sorry. Um, I thought you were like asking how I got it.
No.
It's not though. I've worked. I've been eligible to work for 4 years, and I've held 5 jobs. So, I'm constantly like, this is the longest job I've ever held. It's it's not bad. I've worked at like McDonald's before.
Yeah.
Compared to McDonald's, it's utopia.
Nice.
But like, yeah, I mean, obviously it's gonna be like low skilled, unskilled labor, not very fun.
I guess the thing that would make it more fun is if there's some, I don't know, maybe hot hockey moms coming through, soccer moms.
No.
No, no. Okay.
In Ohio, everyone over the age of 30 is morbidly obese.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
It's
Any coworkers?
one of the highest rates
Any
for obesity.
any coworkers who are cute?
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, like, it feels weird to try to hit on coworkers
Well, no.
when they're 10 years older than me usually.
Well, you don't have to hit on them. Just like it's nice to see them around, you know.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna grab myself a water.
Okay.
Hold on.
It's a nice kitchen there.
Yeah, when we got this place, it had not been maintained for like, decades. The person who owned it died.
Yeah.
Everything had to be like redone here. So
How long have you been there? Have you been there?
probably like I think we moved in when I was 13, so 5.
Yeah. Is there a dad in the house?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little.
Yeah. Is there a father in the house?
No.
No. Any siblings?
Yeah, I've got a brother and a sister. I'm the oldest.
Cool, cool, cool. And are you just finishing up high school now?
Yeah, I'm in my senior year. I have 1 credit left.
Yeah.
It's just an economics credit that I need to get through.
Now, before COVID hit, did you have any kind of inclinations of what you would do next?
Yeah, and I still do. I'm still, as of right now, I'm still set on going to Austria for next school year, or actually by December.
Did you
December is when I'm supposed to leave.
did you
Second semester.
did you say Austria?
Yeah, I'm gonna move to a area where I have better internet connection.
Okay, sure. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Did you say you're moving to Austria?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
got into a foreign exchange program. They said I was the quickest person to ever complete all the paperwork. Because
Nice.
I showed up on the scene like really late into it. I was supposed to do, everyone else at the and then say, all right, you have 2 weeks to complete all this paperwork, and I was able to pull it off.
So, have you had your eye on Austria?
I want out of Ohio so bad.
Yeah, I hear that's a common theme.
Honestly, that's just what they picked for me. I
Oh,
would have chosen like the Netherlands, but no. Now that I look into it,
yeah,
it seems like one of the best countries in the world.
I agree. The scenery is beautiful, the mountains and the lakes, and
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
I love the mountains.
yeah, me too.
I'm into skiing, so
I guess you probably, wait, have you been more to Colorado or the Appalachians or what?
I've never been to Colorado, but we have mountains. Yeah, the Appalachians.
There's no ski hills in Ohio, surely.
Oh yeah, we do. We have
Oh,
a few.
okay, okay.
They're pretty far south.
Yeah,
There's it's called the Hocking Hills region,
okay.
and it's all just like big ass slopes.
Oh, so you got some sizable hills, do you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool. I had no idea.
So like, I was part of the skiing club in high school,
Nice.
and we would have to drive like 3 fucking hours at 5 a.m.
Yeah, yeah, that's how it goes. Do they have like a ski lodge you get your lunch at or what?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Did you
You can't go without that.
like soup or chili or what?
Would go in there and just grab like like some chicken tenders,
Yeah, nice, nice.
No, it's nice.
After like a
It's
full,
like
go ahead, go ahead.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's nice because if I'm going to be skiing the whole day, there
Yeah,
better be like a place where I can, especially because I'm just bad at it. Like I get injured every hill I'm on,
yeah.
but
That's that's not that's not good. Wait, have you ever hurt yourself skiing?
oh yeah, nothing major, but
Stuff that would recover in like 2 weeks or what?
stuff that would recover in like 5 seconds,
Oh,
like
okay, yeah, yeah,
getting in falling while you're going down like a really fast hill. If you have like any sort of pain tolerance, you can recover from that immediately.
yeah. Yeah, and if you're like 16 years old, that helps a lot.
Oh yeah.
And of course, every time you wipe out, you might learn a little more about how to ski, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, if I recall correct, I was never given like proper like lessons in skiing.
Yeah.
I went to like one class and then got lost halfway through it. I got stranded from my instructor, and so I had to teach myself.
Yeah.
And the only way you can do that is through, just doing it.
Hmm. So, what are your favorite subjects in school?
The only class I ever actually enjoyed was my college philosophy class.
Yeah. Um,
I was my professor was probably the smartest man I ever met.
yeah.
Very quick-witted. He could answer any challenge that students brought to him like immediately.
Was he in like his 50s or what?
He was a young guy.
Oh,
He
cool.
was like in 30s or 40s probably.
That's always fun.
But he was not like a student professor though. He
No.
was an actual like doctor. He had papers published in philosophical journals.
Nice. Did he have a beard?
Yes,
Yeah.
always important.
What about glasses?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
For years, I would not for years, but for a while, I would just like bring a picture of him to my barber.
Yeah.
He would do my hair like his.
Nice.
Cause he had it's hard to find any good hairstyles with like a widow's peak like this. So
Yeah, yeah. What were some of your favorite philosophers or like concepts that he introduced you guys to?
question. I think probably the most interesting. I don't know like the particular philosopher. Might have been Peter Singer.
Yeah.
But the most interesting discussion was over whether like great apes can be given the same rights as like persons have,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if they can be considered legal persons. Because obviously they're not like Homo sapiens, but the question is, can we extend the definition of personhood to other animals?
I know like a practical application of that was like, have you heard of the Rwandan genocide
Yeah.
in like 1994? Basically, Rwanda was a hellish place to live for a while, but ever since they have found that like ecotourism is a very lucrative business, and so they found that they want to protect the gorillas because all the rich tourists want to come to see them. So it's like the whole idea of human rights for chimps is like tied up with the business interests of keeping them alive and healthy so that people can come and see them. So I thought that was a really cool, a cool way for getting out of their misery in the early
Oh
90s.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the example you would give is there was a lawyer in I think it was New York who would like go around suing like zoos and shit on behalf of chimpanzees, saying that the chimpanzee is being deprived of their human rights or their person
Yeah,
rights.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't know if he won, but like the idea was you want a judge to set a precedent at some point so that you can win in the future.
Yeah, and like even if the judge is an asshole and says like, these beasts don't deserve consideration, at least you've got it on record as saying that kind of a cruel thing, right? So,
Yeah, right. Like he was able to get a judge to say like, your argument is very compelling,
yeah.
but unfortunately I have to smack it down.
Yeah, like in the 19th century, there's a lot of civil rights involving blacks, and often it would not go the way of the black person or the native Indian, but sooner or later the tide kind of changed and things started going better.
That's exactly how it was, though. It's like, because black people were not considered full humans at one point,
Well,
and yet we have a lot of court cases where black people are arguing that they are humans, and therefore entitled to the rights guaranteed in the Constitution.
yeah, and it's like as public sentiment changes, like as people read the judge's decision in their newspaper and are like horrified by it, you get like more and more backlash, and eventually the judge has to like relent, or else everyone hates his guts.
Yeah, and I mean that's one day going to be the case for chimpanzees. I'm really into like watching, videos of chimps.
Yeah,
'Cause they're funny animals, but
yeah, yeah, for sure.
you see them. I watch videos of them, and I'm like, this is basically a person.
Yeah, yeah, they're soulful.
They're not that much different.
No, you can see it in their eyes, their kind of intelligence and like their presence. Yeah. It's like
They're able to use tools. They're able to empathize with other creatures.
yeah, and if you piss them off,
They've got a whole class of pattern recognition skills.
yeah, and if you piss them off, they can chew your face off, but like don't piss them off, and
That too.
yeah,
Well, I mean that's mostly like the men when they like go through puberty, because chimps go through puberty too.
yeah.
That's when you want to like get rid of them, because they're fine to keep as pets until that happens.
That reminds me of something really interesting I learned about elephants. When hunters come in and kill the mature elephants for their tusks, that has a terrible influence because in elephant society, the adolescent elephants going through that puberty, if they are around older males, they're kind of it's called like must or something. They get like a frenzied state where they attack everything. But if there are older males around, that doesn't happen. So if you kill the older males for their tusks, the younger ones go berserk and start attacking villagers and like drinking the beer. You hear about that in, like in India. It's just a bad time for everybody. So yeah, don't kill the old elders. It's bad for business.
That was actually if you ever read the original copy, like the source material for the Jungle Book.
Yeah,
That's what happened. Is like the elephants go and destroy the entire village
yeah.
because the people pissed them off.
Just so some fancy nobleman in Austria or whatever can have a nice ivory and ebony piano.
Right. Yeah. It's really fucking dark. I back to the apes. Like humans, I was reading a story of how palm oil corporations will pay mercenaries to murder orangutans, proboscis monkeys,
Wow.
whatever. And the orangutans, they don't really fight back.
That's
They're not aggressive like chimpanzees are.
man, that is harsh. That's bad.
They say humans have killed 100,000 orangutans in Borneo
Oh my
in the
god,
last like 2 years.
that's so sick.
Yeah, they're critically endangered now.
And like you hear advocacy for like don't eat palm oil or make sure your palm oil is like sustainable practices, and you see more of that now than you did certainly 10 or 20 years ago. But obviously not going quite far enough. Like
It's hard though. Like when it's in literally everything, it's really fucking hard to avoid using it.
yeah, I think there probably is. I think there are ways of sustainably having a palm oil plantation, but yeah, I guess it's just so much cheaper just to murder all the chimps and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they wanna, they gotta protect their crops from the slow-moving and peaceful orangutan.
Yeah. It just takes like a
There's
little.
lots of pictures. One of my favorite pictures of all time is this photo of like a orangutan, like a dude was stuck in a snake pit,
Yeah.
and the orangutan like and gives him his hand, its hand to
Yeah.
try to help him out.
Yeah. That's
I'm like, don't kill these fucking things. They're cool.
I know. And like I heard about, there was a swimmer in New Zealand there was a shark going after her, but some dolphins saw it and they kind of intervened and swam around the swimmer until help could come. You know, that's pretty
Right.
cool.
There's a lot of stories like that, yeah.
Yeah, like they like us, you know. These animals like us, so we should like them back.
I don't know why, you know.
You don't.
Like, if the chimps really wanted to take over, they probably could.
Well, they made a couple movies about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, in Thailand, they're already in the process of it. They, looks like I was watching these videos on, like, thousands of monkeys, you know, storming small village in Thailand and just taking over.
There's
So, yeah,
a,
that's how the whole world should.
there's a movie out of Japan called Pompoko. Have you heard of that ever?
Oh,
There are these like a community of raccoon bears, and they talk and they think like humans. Like they, this is an animated film, so they can. Anyway, basically, they've decided to fight.
based on real events.
What?
Based on real events.
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of whimsical. They decided to make a final stand and fight back against the humans and their kind of destruction of the forest. It's very, very cool and interesting. Very beautiful. Maybe I'll stream it someday on here and we can all watch it together.
That's it. The real life version of that is the orangutan trying to stop the bulldozer from destroying its forest. Have you ever seen that video?
No, I haven't.
The worst fucking video I ever watched was this orangutan helplessly trying to fight a bulldozer
Oh man.
from destroying it
Yeah,
and then getting killed.
if you've seen Mad Max Fury Road, you want to attack the hydraulics.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's about the only
Well,
vulnerable.
yeah, if I'm that orangutan, this is the apocalypse. Like I look at it, it's the forest behind it. If I'm this orangutan, this is the end of the world.
Yeah, I mean it literally is for that poor guy. It's sad. I know. Do you remember? Did you listen to the episode of Red Scare about a month ago where Dash? Yeah, it was Love Line, where Dash explains that orangutans are her favorite animal, maybe.
I didn't listen to that, but I wouldn't be shocked.
No. Well, I looked up some photos of them, and they have so much character in their faces. You know.
They're awesome animals, dude.
They look-
Like I just couldn't imagine being like some like villager in Borneo 500 years ago, and I go off into the forest to like pick nuts. And I encounter the orangutan.
Oh, do you know what orangutan translates to?
The forest man, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But you know, that's what they are essentially. So
Yeah, it's like basically, presumably they were seen as equals by the early societies.
yeah, but you know,
Like,
us in the civilized world know that they should be shot.
oh man, it's hard to even wrap your head around how it's like the mark of Cain. Like, I feel like people who murder are kind of murdering themselves in a way.
You
Like
wanna
they're kind of
elaborate on that?
they're kind of destroying their own spiritual wellspring of like goodness and light. You know.
I mean, you're assuming that like exists in someone
Well-
who's like a poacher.
Well,
I think these are people solely motivated by profit.
Yeah, but to lack the empathy of seeing it as like a fellow traveler in this world.
Mm. Yeah, no, but people are just like socialized that way.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I'm born like I think one of Trump's kids like kills elephants or lions. I can't remember. But yeah, of course, he never had to learn what empathy is.
Well, yeah, because his father lacks it completely because he's like emotionally paralyzed, kind of. Or at least he doesn't have the full range of human emotions. It seems
Of course,
it's
I
basically
think I would like to see Trump do like any normal human thing,
yeah.
like feel any type of normal human emotion, but
It's mostly about being smart, being clever, being funny, being successful in the most banal and conventional terms, and like getting attention, of course.
well, he is fun.
Like
I'll give him that. He is fun.
like Trump would do well to like look at himself in the mirror and like see how revolting he is and like feel ashamed and like I need to change myself because I look like a disgusting mess, you know.
Yeah, I mean he's 76. You know,
But I mean, you can be you can be like a healthy
too
weight.
late.
You can be a healthy weight at 76, you know.
Sure, but like weight is one part of the equation there.
Yeah.
If we're talking about like mentally,
Yeah.
if you're 76, you're probably not going to change very much in terms of personality.
No, and
Especially when you've got dementia.
yeah. Especially when you have a base of supporters who are kind of gassing you up constantly.
What's funny, he is right when he says that he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and they would still support him. He could do anything.
Well, I don't think the police would be indifferent to that though.
Of course, but like if he came out tomorrow and said, you know, we're gonna like round up all the migrants and shoot them, which he's most likely not gonna say,
No.
but like solid 30% people would be behind him.
Yeah, because they want to project all their anxiety and fear about the world onto this invader and say that's the problem, that guy there, because they don't have the guts to look inside.
My understanding is that Trump has more of a personality cult than like Kim Jong Un.
Yeah, I would believe that. I would believe that. Yeah.
I look here in Brooklyn, Ohio. Every other house has like a Trump cardboard cutout.
Oh
Dude,
God.
that shit's not normal.
Well,
You know?
I kind of probably like him more than Barack. Yeah, I do. I like him more than Barack. I like him more than HW. Or sorry, George W. How about you?
Most of that was like before my time, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I do remember Barack.
I found.
And Barack, the reason people like him is because he was just a much better speaker. He was much more of a stabilizing
Yeah.
influence. Not make him like morally better though.
Don't you get the impression from Barack he's so like smug and arrogant and condescending? Do you get that at all?
Oh yeah, I mean he ever since he left office in 2017,
Yeah.
he has made a project to undermine Bernie Sanders, anyone like him. And that's kind of to be expected. I don't care very much. I voted Bernie, but I wasn't like fanatical about him.
No, I mean it would have been nice, but I don't know. It was nice there for a while. Like Bernie had so much like spirit, and he's looking healthy and like happy and energized, and that was cool. And then fucking
He's just not a charismatic guy.
he was getting there.
He doesn't have that personality that Trump does.
He was getting there a little bit. He was getting there. But yeah, I hear.
And all the speakers are the same, like 4 talking points.
Yeah, I hear. Yeah, sometimes. I don't know. If he's asked a good question, he can usually answer it very well. But
I was just mad because he didn't come to Ohio.
right,
Ohio is a big fucking swing state, and this guy just avoided it the entire election.
yeah, yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool.
Fucking sucks. Apparently, we're not worthwhile to him.
Well, maybe that's why he did not win Super Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He dropped out before we got a chance to vote. He wasn't. He shouldn't have done that. Like, you know, in 2016, all the libs were mad at him because he stuck around, and it's like, what are you fucking mad that he's giving everyone a chance to vote for him?
Yeah. I feel like the fact that Sanders could not win over, say, black voters in North Carolina was like critically destructive to his chances.
He did pretty well with young black voters,
Yeah.
but like older black voters
Yeah.
were just so heavily lopsided towards Biden.
Yeah. I think probably.
Unfortunately, you know, people like me were a decent amount of his support. You know, young white guys.
Yeah.
Women actually, you know, there's a divide between men and women. Women in Oregon went Biden, and men in Oregon went Bernie.
Yeah. I don't know. I should probably start hating Biden a little less than I have been. Like, I didn't mind Biden throughout the Obama's presidency, but he's kind of full of shit sometimes. I don't know. He's not that bad though.
Oh, he lies constantly, but you know, I'm more concerned with the fact that he's clearly in a mental decline.
Well, that could be a boon though, because once he dies, Kamala gets in.
Awful.
You don't like Kamala?
Hey, come on.
Oh, is that because? How come?
Because she's a strong woman of color.
No, seriously though.
It's because I mean, she's just like a violent, disingenuous actor. I remember, remember if you watched the debates, she called out Biden for being like a segregationist.
Yeah, yeah,
And then, like, when on Stephen Colbert, she was asked to explain, like, if he's a segregationist, why are you his vice president? I mean, yeah, why are you his vice president? And she says, like, oh yeah, I only said it because it was a debate. Like,
yeah. Well,
I can't fucking say anything you say now.
I respect that because it's called real politics, the politics of reality, and all she needs to do is get into that second spot, and then when Biden's brain goes mush, she's in. You know, she's in.
I don't fucking want anyone who's practicing real politics. The last big person who did that was Henry Kissinger. And he, like, is probably responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths, so.
Have you ever seen The Fog of War with Robert McNamara?
Oh.
That really helps explain or show you how complicated the situation was and how they got so off track and how Vietnam became such a mess. Basically, they were doing like accountancy too much. They weren't thinking big picture.
It became a mess, you know, the second we went into it. You know, at first we were just supporting the South Vietnamese dictatorship, and we had to go and install our own.
Well, basically, Robert McNamara was like a hotshot who learned how powerful computing can be in like the 50s. He was like a pioneer in applying computing principles to military management, say, for John F. Kennedy. And that just fucking went sideways because they were so busy looking at their spreadsheets that they'd missed like the human element, you know? Anyway,
Right. Right.
Anyway, that's a documentary, The Fog of... Sorry, go ahead.
I'll put that in to my notes, but like, yeah, that's what Kissinger was all about, though. He, you know, for example, he tried to form like an alliance with Pakistan.
Yeah,
While Pakistan was like mass murdering protesters and shit.
yeah.
So he was like, you know, he was defending them, I think in the Indo-Pakistani war. It was the blood telegram. What I'm thinking of. So yeah, I don't want anyone who comes from that school of thought.
Well, when you hear Henry Kissinger speak, he's so dry and monotone, you know?
Because he's old as fuck.
But even 40 years ago, he was so dry and monotone, you know? It's like,
He's a German guy. They're incapable of that.
um,
Uh,
well, some are cool, but
The
yeah,
one guy who was capable of it became dictator of the country. So
it's just like not he's missing that full of emotional richness that helps you make good decisions as a human being, you know?
mm.
It's kind of crazy that he's
Well,
still
I mean, he needs a spiritual engineer.
exactly. Well, it's too yeah, he never had a chance, that guy. He's too smart for his own good.
Speaking of, what is I've been wanting to ask you this.
Yeah.
What is a spiritual engineer?
Um
Going
yeah,
like,
yeah.
'cause you said that you were one. I just want to know, like, what does that mean?
Well, that was just like a off the cuff remark. But I will think. Just let me think about that a second before I answer. Well, I kind of someone who understands the mechanics of how you get from state A to state B to state C spiritually, like how you go from someone who's angry and repressed and hostile to the next step, which is like a little more relaxed and calm, to the next step, which is like a little more open and receptive to other people, like the next step, which is like actually having truly useful and insightful things to offer other people, and so on and so forth, you know, up the ladder. So, uh,
Where would you say you were on the ladder?
oh, um, if you had asked me what my profession was like a few years ago, I would have said like monk. Like I kind of thought that was a cute little answer, which was more or less accurate. But this spring I had a epiphany that I felt like I was graduating more to like a wizard, magician, maybe. I don't know. It's all metaphorical, of course. I'm not actually casting a
You're not
spell.
like a literal magician, right? But
I can't create fire out of nothing. So, but you know, it's
why would you call yourself a magician?
because it's so much more lively and interesting and charming than like I'm a I'm a consultant. I'm a management consultant. It's like, oh fuck, kill me, you know.
Yeah, right.
And you know, I'm a
When
bit.
did you how did you learn to be a spiritual engineer?
Oh, well, I mean, you read books and you are inspired and you get like a sense of a vibe of a thing you really like. For instance, I read a lot of fantasy novels growing up. I really liked people traveling across the wilderness to cities in groups of adventurers and swords and sorcery and fighting off monsters, and just like I liked the whole. I liked how capable people would be with a sword or a staff and a spell book. I liked how smart and cunning and intelligent they were. It's like inspirational for me to see a portrait,
You try to emulate that.
like a portrait of a cooperative group of like experienced veteran treasure hunters or whatever it might be. You know, it's a lot more interesting like being a fireman or a fucking I don't know, a mobster or a baseball player. That stuff is all a little bit um, banal. At least when you're 13 years old.
Yeah, I wanted to be a Jedi, so
Yeah, there you
I
go.
understand what you mean.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's like that X factor, that sort of magic element is kind of really interesting.
Yeah, so with regard to the Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
when did you get to that?
When did I what?
When did you start getting into Lord of the Rings?
Oh, my father was friends with somebody in England, and eventually both of them moved out here with their wives, and so we would go and see them like once a month or so out in Tawasin or Richmond. And one day I was there, and I was just looking around one of their sons' bedrooms, and I saw some books, and it was Lord of the Rings, and I talked to them, and they're like, here, bring them home. You can read them. And I had already read The Hobbit from the library, which I loved. Um, I didn't actually finish those books when I was 13, but I came back to them in 2000 when in anticipation of the first movie coming out. Uh,
Right.
so I kind of finished that trilogy by like spring of 2001, and then Fellowship came out in December of that year. Of course, we had 9/11 in the intervening time. And yeah,
Right.
so the books meant a lot to me. I thought it was richly fascinating, and then the movie itself, I thought the characterization of, say, Boromir was absolutely wonderful by Sean Bean.
Right,
Yeah,
and that's why.
yeah, and
Is your profile picture right?
yeah. I just think he looks funny and cool. I don't know. I like the look of it.
Now, my understanding is that you got your start on the internet from like Lord of the Rings, forums. Is that true or?
No, I've been using the internet since like '95, basically. Um, I could list all the different communities I've been a part of over the years. I don't think that's particularly interesting, but
I'd like to.
well, I never actually bought a Something Awful account, but I certainly read it plenty. There was a production out of Vancouver actually called Electric Playground, where they had forums. I created an account there. There was Screw Attack back in like 2006, which was also gaming related. I had an account there. Canucks.com forums, HF boards, hockey forums, Wikipedia,
Of course.
ICQ. That's like a very early chat program created by an Israeli company. It came out around '99. Met some really cool people on there. MSN Messenger. Um, I dated a bit online. What else? GameSpy. Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, Doom World. You know Doom, the game.
Don't I book series?
Sorry, what?
Dune. Dune as in like the books?
Doom. No, Doom, the shooter, first-person shooter.
Oh, a video game. I thought you said Dune. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I used to create maps for Doom 2, back in like 96, 95, 96, and then I got back into that in like 2009 and 10. On Doom World, I would publish them, and people would talk about them, and I would like discuss things, and I get feedback from people about my mapping, and I developed a pretty strong reputation there. Eventually, I got myself banned, but that was for the best. You can still
Wait,
find,
hold on.
yeah.
Want to tell me about that?
Um,
How did you get yourself banned from a
I,
Doom forum?
well, I think the thing that pissed me off the most was how smug and arrogant these people were, because it takes a lot of effort to make a Doom map. Like you really have to
Right.
put in the man hours to do it, and these guys had such a dismissive, arrogant attitude towards my work that they like they were like being very deceptive about how much effort it makes to make it, rather compared to critique it in like
Right.
10 seconds. It's like if you don't want to play my maps, don't like it. Okay, that's fine. But I would appreciate if you weren't so smug about it, because I put a lot of work in, you know?
So, like, were you the only map creator there, or were there,
Oh
others?
no. There's a continued, like, it's a real legacy game. So there's a healthy community of people even to this day who keep
Oh,
on
okay.
creating maps, and basically every week or every month there'd be a new publication of different reviews. Like every significant map that got uploaded to their FTP site, somebody would say, "I'll review this," and then they'd all be taken up, and then the batch would come back and be published in one kind of review article. So you could go there. You can go there and like look up my name, like Chris Wright, and you will see everything I've ever uploaded there. Yeah.
Were you active in like Lord of the Ring forum? When did that happen?
Oh, not really for the. I don't really remember discussing the movie too much. I discussed more like Phantom Menace when it came out. But there's a game called Lord of the Rings Online. Have you heard of that?
I haven't.
Oh, well, there is, and I played it heavily in 2012 and 13, and I also posted quite a bit on the official game forums. It's based out of Boston, Massachusetts.
So, awesome city, but
Yeah, my parents said it.
I'm sorry.
My parents had really glowing things to say about Boston, and were emphatic that I should make a point of visiting someday.
Have you ever been there?
No, I've never been anywhere in the United States apart from Washington State,
Man.
Oregon, California, and Hawaii.
So like we're okay.
Uh,
You're in Vancouver, right?
yeah.
Right on the border with Oregon, Washington.
Yeah, I'm like 2 miles north of the border between Washington State and
Okay.
BC. Yeah.
What's the most exotic place you've ever traveled to?
I've been to Athens, Naxos, Santorini,
Where's that?
in Greece,
Hmm.
and then we took a kind of a liner across from Greece to Italy, went up Italy, Rome, Siena, Florence, Switzerland, Interlaken, Paris, then flew back to England to continue our vacation in 2004.
So were you with like a bunch of friends? Or
Oh
was
no
this
no
a
no
family?
no! I was this was 2 years out of finishing college. I was unemployed, so my parents were going there with my younger brother and sister. So I went along too. I was 25 years old, or I was about to turn 25.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen pictures from that. Looks like it was a good time.
Oh, pictures from my catalog, you mean, or what?
I think so. I saw a picture of you when you were like much younger, and somebody had told me that it was from when
Oh.
you were in Italy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that was probably on Facebook, right?
On Facebook, somebody just like posted it and said like this Vranak when he was in Italy.
Yeah, yeah. I've been to Italy twice. Once when I was like maybe 13, and then again at 24. I didn't like it too much the first time.
What was wrong with it?
Well, at that age, I just wanted to be at home playing Super Nintendo with my friend Matt, and I didn't have much use for like sightseeing and stuff. I don't know. My dad's an Aries. He really drags you around. Like he never stops. Like you don't just when you're on vacation, you're never like just chilling out in a nice location very long. It's always next, and that gets tiring.
Right.
Like I'd rather just
Yeah,
like
you ever just been on like you ever been on like a vacation where you get like a group of friends together and you just go somewhere?
no, I haven't really had a lot of close friends
Mm.
locally since I was like I don't know 15 or so. But I've been making more friends once I hit around 30. I became like a more, I don't know, sociable person. And now that I
Like
have
in
now,
real life,
I mean, the critical thing is you got to have some money, right? But just this year and last year, I've been able to save some. So sooner or later, I'll be doing more of that kind of thing with real people, I think.
do you have like any real people that you interact with?
Yeah,
Or
I got like a friend in the next cul-de-sac called Matt. We've been friends since for like 20 years. And we talk
that's a
sometimes.
friend that
That's a friend that what?
that's the friend that you just mentioned, right?
No,
The one who you would rather Nintendo with and
no, that
join the
no, that was Matt Moore. That guy was Anglo-Saxon ancestry. Matt Saul actually is his mom's like Germanic, and his dad is like a Hindu. He's from India, so he's kind of
uh,
half breed. But he's a great guy.
that's good to hear. Uh,
And he has two brothers who I get along with well too. But we haven't seen too much of each other in the last 15 years.
of course,
Yeah.
last 15 years.
The thing is, where I live is more for either retirees or people between the ages of, say, 35 and 55 who are raising their kids. And I have noticed when I go into the city, like Kitsilano, downtown Vancouver and stuff, I see people more like me, people I could be friends with. But I may eventually be moving somewhere the next year that's more amenable to making friends
Oh, really?
of my peer group. Yeah, because my parents, they're in their 70s now, and they're looking to sell this place and like downsize. So I'm
So you're moving with them.
what's that?
So you're like moving in. You're staying with them,
I'm
right?
I'm
But they're
staying.
moving somewhere else.
Yeah, well they're gonna
Oh, so
sell.
you're saying that they'll down. They'll have to leave.
Yeah, yeah. Like, but I've got some help with like contacts. Like, there are kind of corporations that help settle people like me into long-term housing. So we just been beginning that process, and we'll see how it goes.
All right. No, dude, I'm hoping it works out for you. I mean, that's the way Port Clinton is, though. Like, it's mostly for retired people.
Yeah. So where is?
It. Where's Port Clinton?
Say again?
Are you asking where Port Clinton is?
Can you just say it really clearly? It sounds like Portland or what?
Are you asking where Port Clinton
Oh,
is?
Port Clinton. I just wanted to hear the name clearly. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where is it?
It's in far north Ohio. So right on the Great Lakes.
Is that Lakes
Lake Erie.
Lake Erie? Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly for like pretty much the entire coast. Here is like gated communities.
Yeah.
Like one long. It's for old people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I understand. It sucks to like grow up in that like kind of environment.
Yeah. It does. You're gonna spend a lot of time on the internet probably.
Hopefully not, but
Uh,
I'm getting out of here as soon as I can. So
okay. So you mentioned going to Austria. What kind of a program would you be entering?
I would be going to a Austrian high school for 6 months or so.
Okay. Okay. And what about after that?
I would be family.
You'd be
After that, I'm going to apply to like some Austrian university. I'm thinking the University of Vienna.
Cool. Very cool. And
Because I'm like, this is the first step to getting out of Port Clinton is, going to university somewhere very, very far away.
yeah. I guess it's not particularly important what your major would be, just to, as long as you're somewhere else, right?
All right.
Okay, okay, cool.
I'm thinking philosophy, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. There's this notion, apparently, that philosophy majors have poor job prospects, but I have read differently. I've read that if you know how to think and reason, that's incredibly powerful. And
Oh,
you,
yeah. No, I mean, philosophy majors actually do pretty well in terms of like median income.
yeah,
Like they're not like on the low end, like gender studies majors or whatever. Because a lot of them end up like becoming lawyers, which
yeah.
I wouldn't want to do. But like, it's not like it's a totally useless degree.
No, no, no. Like knowing how to
Did
think.
you ever
What's that?
Did you ever like graduate university or anything?
Oh,
Or
absolutely. Well, first I was in computer science. I saw that was a dead end, and then I kind of ended up getting my BA in psychology.
oh, nice. That's a good degree too. That was like my second choice.
Well, the professors at UBC,
Nice.
the professors at UBC in psychology are some of the best in the world. Like it's got a really, really good department.
Right.
My second
Right. Yeah. I mean,
my
go
second
on.
my
Sorry.
my second choice would have been geography, and apparently UBC has a those are like two fields that UBC is excellent at. I had no idea at the time. Geography and psychology. Yeah. Like you see a lot of research
You stayed on campus or?
only for like 3 months. It was extremely expensive, and I kind of I went home every single weekend, and it was I didn't get laid at all. So I was like, this is not worth the money, not even close.
So this was when you were like younger, when you were 20s.
Yeah, like 18, 19, 20, 21, basically. I did a co-op term in computer science. I worked at a software firm for 8 months. That was okay.
And you said you worked in a kitchen at some point.
Yeah, that was next year, like March through August of 2000. The best part of that, of course, was so many good-looking young women working as waitresses.
Mm. Right.
Yeah,
So were you like a cook or what? Like
yeah,
were you
I was just a
a
cook.
waiter?
Yeah, like a prep cook, and I made all the pizzas, salads.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and I would help out whenever, like, eventually they started having me clean like oven hoods and like doing dishwashing, and that's like, that's okay, but you guys might want to bump my pay up a little more from like $7 an hour. And the breaking point was when I talked to a guy who had just come back. He worked as a dishwasher exclusively, and I met him at the gym, and I asked him how much they were paying you, and it was like way more than me. And like, I know I'm way more valuable than this guy. I'm like, okay, we're done here. So one day they gave me a split shift. That's no good. So one day I just, after the first half of my shift, I just walked out and never came back.
That's why with McDonald's is like the managers pissed me off so much. I'm like, there's no point in me being here. You're paying me nothing. Just gonna leave.
I think it's almost they're doing it for your own good. They're like they know it's not good for you to be there long term, so they want to piss you off so you'll leave, like for your good, you know?
I don't believe that. I think that they're just genuinely unpleasant people.
Yeah, yeah,
So if you're rising up the corporate ladder at fucking McDonald's, like you're probably not pleasant people don't do that. People who have long-term like career prospects don't tend to do that.
yeah. You're probably on something there. Yeah, yeah. Like who like it would probably be better for the world at large if McDonald's completely shut down. So it's like you're propping up like a evil corporation by being your little
I
middleman.
feel like I'm doing it no matter what.
Say again?
I feel like I'm doing that no matter what. Like, no matter what job I hold, I'm going to be paying taxes to the biggest evil corporation, which is the United States government.
But don't you see
Uh,
though, ever since Trump has come in, there have been like no foreign interventions, you know?
They're still happening. Trump tried to overthrow the government of Venezuela. He's trying to overthrow the government of Nicaragua. He almost invaded Iran. I mean,
But he almost invaded.
yeah,
He decided at the last second because he realized how much damage this is going to cause, and he said no, it's not worth it. So that's a first for a U.S. president, you know.
it's hard. It's hard to like congratulate him for putting an end to a drone strike that he himself ordered.
But
He also, he assassinated like the second in command of that country. So
yeah, yeah. I think Iranians, generally speaking, are actually really cool people. So it'd be really awesome if one day Americans and Iranians could like be buddies, you know?
oh yeah,
Like,
no, Iranians are cool as hell.
yeah, they are, they are.
Every Iranian I've met has been awesome.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, why do we have to be so, you know? It's the media. It's like big business which fucks us over and makes us think that we're enemies and we're not. We don't have to be at all.
You'll probably find there are more like pro-American Iranians than pro-American Sauds.
Yeah. What we need though is more.
The Saud are paid off.
What we need though is more people like you and me who understand the Iranian people are badass, and like all this like dog and pony show is a whole bunch of horse shit, you know?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's I think that like there's probably like for the Iranian people and the American people, probably a lot closer than we are together than we are to our respective governments.
Yeah, but the problem is they just saturate bomb you with bullshit on CNN and NBC and ABC and just like program you to feel like there's some kind of intractable. Basically, they're always trying to ratchet up the fear whenever they can. They're trying to like get you to be anxious and afraid and look at Iran as like this monster. They're scary. They can't be trusted. And of course,
They've got new.
yeah, and like Benjamin not Netanyahu is like the worst at that. He's like so trying to get you all tense and like angry, and I want to punch that guy in the face. Like, just chill the fuck out, buddy. It doesn't have to be this way, you know.
Yeah, what are your feelings on Israel?
Um, I think if there's ever going to be a lasting peace in that region, I think Israel has to be the one that changes their hearts and their minds.
You think
Like,
it's a legitimate state or no?
like, yeah, I think Israelis have got to look at their Palestinian people as like their brother, basically, rather than the enemy.
Right, yeah. So, it doesn't help that the IDF uses like genocidal rhetoric on their like Twitter. They had that one post where they were saying that like Iranian women who are like pregnant, like they are increasing terrorism, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
Like
based.
every Iranian is a terrorist from birth.
Who was writing those tweets?
It was the IDF.
Say again.
The IDF, Israeli
Defense Force, right? Yeah. There's a really, really good show.
Yeah,
There's a really good show on Netflix. Do you get Netflix?
I do.
There's a really good show about all the stuff called Messiah. It came out this January.
Mm.
They got some amazing footage. Like they went to like the West Bank and Temple on the Mount to film scenes. It's very, very interesting in so many different ways. I think you might like it.
I'll write that down too.
It's one of the most.
The war.
What?
I have like a list going of shit I need to watch, and it's up there with the Fog of War now.
Oh well, don't. Yeah, like just. I mean, it's fine if like in 7 years' time you happen to see Fog of Wars on TV and you like remember. Oh wait, you're not even gonna remember that I mentioned it, but you're gonna know. you're gonna recognize it, and you might change a channel. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's I'm Jewish, and like I would love like nothing more than Israel to be done away with tomorrow. I
Well,
think that would peace more than anything.
let's just say we snap our fingers and every rifle and tank and nuclear warhead in Israel vanishes. Now, what happens next? You know, do the Palestinians like tear their throats out with their teeth or what?
Yeah, that's what I'd be worried about is like the Jewish people who already live there
Yeah.
being expelled. I don't want that, but
That's why it's good to happen gradually, like, you know, like Israel start
Sure.
treating Palestinians nicer today and get a little bit cozier over time so that you know, integration could be smoother later.
yeah, I don't like the fact that Israel is like other Arab states or other states in the Middle East are starting to like recognize it as legitimate. It's like, well, you do that, and now it's gonna last forever.
You're, ta-
Like once, if the entire world falls in line behind it, like it's never going to end.
you are you talking about recognizing Palestine?
No, I'm talking about I think it was Kuwait or or the
Dhabi?
United Arab Emirates. Yeah, Abu Dhabi. They recently formalized relations with Israel and recognized it as a because all the Arab countries have been like boycotting it for decades. But now they're starting to let up on that. It's like, no, you do that, and it will never end.
Yeah. Yeah. And like when I was alive in like the 90s and like early aughties, you'd hear so frequently there'd be like another bombing in like in Israel. And it's so nice that that doesn't happen anymore because it was crazy bad.
Yeah, the intifadas were not fun.
Yeah, same with the IRA. That was pretty ugly too.
Yeah, but the IRA were cool.
Uh, Not entirely.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, like,
You can understand why they were so pissed off, certainly.
of course. Especially when Margaret Thatcher was suggesting that they literally just remove Irish people from Northern Ireland. So
Wow. I've
she
been
had like an ethnic cleansing plan.
I've been hearing a lot of pings in the background. Like I got this full screen. I'm just gonna check if we have any questions. Is that okay?
Sure.
Let's have a look here. Oh, there's just Cassie's the only one watching. Just checking Red Scare official. This is probably not relevant to us, but I'll just have to do it anyway. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. There's no questions. This isn't like.
So,
Have you seen the recordings that me and Jake have made?
the one here,
Wait. Say again.
Jacob who?
Oh.
Who's Jacob?
Punani.
No.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no, I did. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what fascinated me the most about that.
Yeah.
And I think I might have been the first person you expressed this belief to, but I want to know more
Yeah.
about how you intend on living 10,000 years. Was that like a metaphorical thing, or was it a joke, or
No, not at all.
are you?
No, I think every human being has a immortal wellspring inside of him, and it's just a matter of clearing out the weeds and the debris and the pollution, and that thing will recharge you forever.
Do you think you've done that?
I think I've got so much of it done that I'm in the clear now.
That you will. How come no other human being in history has done that, but you have?
Uh,
These are not like gotcha questions. I'm genuinely asking.
I don't know, man. Um, mm, everybody has to serve their role in history, and when people have done that, then God says, "Come back to me, my child." You know?
So you think that you have like yet to serve your role in history?
No, I think my purpose is just to enjoy life.
Mm. Nothing like greater than just like hedonism or.
No, 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 not at all. Hedonism is a terrible, terrible idea. um,
So you do think that there is like some greater meaning to your life, or no?
well, I certainly see that there's a lot of power, transformative power to speaking the truth and finding out what your truth is. Um, so I guess my purpose is just to introduce people to maybe new ways of thinking that might help them, you know?
Mm. That's your role in history is, you know, introducing people to different ideas, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, just help, help the nigger out.
Uh, Looks like one of your orbiters is mad about the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Where is that being expressed?
Hotline text.
Oh, let's have a look. Oh, it's Cassie. This is being recorded on my screen, so it'll be published. Yeah, Iran certainly is a freaking Islamic republic, but I'm talking more like the run-of-the-mill average citizen.
So Iran's not a great like government, but I would probably say it's more democratic than Saudi Arabia. They let women vote in Iran.
Yeah.
Whether or not those votes is another issue, but I think it's valuable in and of itself that women can at least nominally vote.
Yeah. Of course, the supreme authority in Iran is the spiritual guy, right? The president is kind of
the Ayatollah.
the president kind of administrates like normal type stuff, but I think he plays second fiddle to like the Ayatollah, right?
My understanding is that the Ayatollah can like dismiss him at any time, but I don't have a great grasp of Iranian politics.
Yeah, like here in Canada, I think the governor general can theoretically dismiss the prime minister, but in practicality, that would never
That
work out.
happened in Australia.
What's that?
That's what happened in Australia
Huh? What?
to Governor Whitlam.
Huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it says CIA or MI6 were involved.
What decade was that?
Not sure. I think it was the 70s or 80s.
Oh, where did you learn about that?
Australia pops up in all those lists of like places that were overthrown by the CIA.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It's like, you know, often the story is a little more complicated than that, but yeah, he did get like overthrown by the governor general.
So
Here's one of your orbiters.
her name is Cassie, by the way. Let me
That's it.
let me fill you in on Iran politics. It's run by Islam, which wouldn't be awful if it wasn't fundamentalist and radical. We killed Salami for being a bitch and talking shit.
Still his name, and you think he should be killed.
I mean,
Whatever.
if you're so right, you should be able to convince your enemies that you are right rather than murdering them. I feel.
Alright. What should we have done with Hitler then?
If I start getting into Hitler, I might get into serious trouble because I kind of understand where he was coming from. I think he wasn't.
I want you to get into Hitler.
What's that?
I'm interested. I want you to get into Hitler. I'm interested in hearing.
Well, I think the Nazis were not exactly completely out to lunch with their idea that the Jews were undermining their country with their kind of incessant mercantilism you know, their accumulation of wealth. I feel like yes, that actually was a problem for like native Germans.
Well, the original Nazi grievance was that Jews did not like serve in the military during World War One, but it's not true though. They served disproportionately in the German military.
Yeah, the Nazis were not. They had no compunction about like a bold-faced lie if it served their interests or if they thought it served their interests. I mean, Hitler
So
writes.
what do you think they should have
Sorry, what?
done?
Like Hitler talked about this. It's called The Big Lie. There's a Wikipedia article on it. He basically says tell a lie that's so impudent and like people would rather believe the lie than accept that you're such a uh, it's easier to believe the lie than believe that you would have the guts to tell the lie, basically. Anyway, it's yeah. Anyway, you were gonna say something?
You think that's not?
What's that?
Oh, I was going to ask, so if Jews really were a problem in Germany,
Yeah.
what should they have done with them?
Well, I mean, if you feel like a group is like really hoarding the wealth and making it difficult for life for everybody else, you know, what else would you do but like seize that wealth? And that's kind of exactly what they did.
Well, I mean, and they also put them in, like, gas chambers.
Yeah, I mean, it's better that they kind of went with the concentration camp route than like systematically going around shooting every Jew in the head. Like from day one, that would be pretty bad. At least in a concentration camp, you have a chance of making it out alive if you can sort of like fit in with the program and like maybe the guards will like they will like you. They will make sure you get enough food. Maybe if you are industrious enough, you're like a valued member of the production line, and so yeah, as long as you have like a role for the Nazis, they're like, as long as they like you and respect you, they're gonna want to keep you alive, I think.
Right, so, like, you're saying, like, as long as people just, like, totally fell in line with the Nazi program, they would not have been killed.
Here's the thing, though. You know how a lot of Jews fled from Germany ahead of the concentration camps?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's you want to be with that group who's getting the fuck out of there, right? You know, you want to be joining,
Of course.
you want to be joining the Americans, the British, and fighting against the Nazis, rather than staying put and kind of hoping this law will blow over. You know?
Yeah, right. I mean, hold on.
So what's that?
Yeah, so, I mean, most Jews who were killed from being shot. It was not like, gas chambers were only around 1 million of them.
So it's more like 5 million bullets.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of bullets, a lot of starvation, a lot of disease.
Yeah. And like when a continent has gotten really, really overpopulated and the quality of life has gone down for everybody, it's like there's only one way out of that. Like a lot of people are gonna have to die one way or another, and it's not gonna be pleasant, you know.
Thought that Europe was overpopulated at the time.
Well, yeah, thanks to the Industrial Revolution, you know, it was just easier and easier to get fed and clothed and housed, but you know, it wasn't exactly a high quality of life unless you happened to be pretty wealthy or whatever.
I don't know, like, because Europe today is probably way more populated than it was then. And
Yeah, but I don't know, we have like the technology, the sophistication, the environmental protections, the ethics perhaps were maybe a little less naive than, or I don't know. I think humanity and morality has evolved in the last, 50, 100 years perhaps. Even if we still have a long way to go. Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of Discord pings. Hold on.
Yeah, what's going on? Maybe you can
No,
actually.
but yeah, I just muted a few servers.
Yeah, we can also mute hotline. Um, just read it. Read it.
So
Read.
you think Hitler had that in mind, that he was going to cull the population so that they could have a higher quality of life?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. It was called like Lebensraum, living space, right?
Sure, but he didn't want to, get the population down. He wanted to replace the population with his people.
Sure. Yeah. Well, but I want to point out here that Hitler did recognize there was such a thing as a noble Jew. Like there was this Jewish doctor that treated maybe his mother, and he was so grateful for that when he became chancellor and ruled the country, he made sure this Jewish doctor was well taken care of, because he recognized that this guy is like me. He values the same things I do. Yeah, I thought that's a very interesting exception to his usual rhetoric.
Yeah, I would just like point out there was that I think it was called the National Association of German Jews,
Yeah.
and they were like a pro-Nazi Jewish group.
Wow. Wow.
It was early on. It was before shit started really getting bad. but
Okay. Okay.
They all got exterminated, even though they were like pro-Hitler.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like a genetic, like aesthetic, like constitutional revulsion that the Nazis had for like the Jewish traits, the character, yeah.
It's like there's early Nazi propaganda of like a tree that represents Judaism, and I'm like pumping poison into it to kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that are you familiar with that poem Ode to a Grecian Urn?
No.
The famous line is basically, truth is beauty, beauty truth, that's all you need to know, all you'll ever need to know. So like, let's just say hypothetically, the Jews living in Germany in the 20s and 30s were kind of like maybe a little bit uglier than their kind of Aryan counterparts. So it's like, it's trying to clean up the. We want to have good-looking people around. We want to have healthy, vibrant, steadfast, upright, straightforward people, rather than like the stereotype. And oh yeah, here's an important thing. Here's where it all began for Hitler. When he was a young man, there was a young Jewish woman who he really loved and admired. And he was, he talked about killing himself when it became apparent that they couldn't be together. And so I think all of this animosity started by seeing the beauty, like the excellent aspects of Jewishness. Wealthy, educated, well-clothed, nice house. He wanted to be a part of that, and who wouldn't? He couldn't have it, and he got so screwed up inside that he's like, I'll show these fuckers, man. I'll show these fuckers if it takes me 1,000 years. And
He also had a small dick, so.
yeah, but if he maybe had healthier sexuality, then maybe his dick would grow a little bit,
You think penises can grow from healthy
Yeah.
sexuality?
Sure. I think if you have nice
Even as an adult, like.
I think if you have nice feelings towards a woman, you're probably going to have ample coverage in that regard.
So, like, how big can it grow as a result of like what's going on in my head?
Yeah, like if your interest in this woman is sort of like robust, healthy, strapping, then maybe let's get 8 inches or 9. And maybe if you're kind of like a weaselly little runt who doesn't really care about the woman, then maybe it's going to go to like 3 or 4 or 5. I don't know. Just a theory.
Alright, so if I start out at like 1 inch long, I'm really into a woman, like can it extend to like 9 inches?
I'm just going to say yes.
Under ideal conditions, okay.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Good point, why not? Now on that subject, Elliot Rodger.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think about him?
Oh, well, I was just watching some of his videos a couple months ago, and he could be charming. He was well spoken. He was intelligent,
Of course he was drunk.
and he had basically nice features. And I think this is the problem for a young like this was the problem for me. It was precisely because I was intelligent, because I was good looking, that eventually I turned sour. Like it's precisely because I feel I should have hot sex with hot women more often than zero times. That's precisely the backbone of the kind of entitlement complex and the anger and the why can't I fucking do this, man? This fucking world's so fucked up. I'm gonna fucking show these bastards. You know? Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course I do.
It's like precisely his.
They,
It's precisely because he is good looking and he is intelligent that ensures that he can believe in himself so strongly that he's gonna go on a rampage one day to show these fuckers who's who.
wait, so
Like he would have a better chance of having a good life if he was a little less smart and a little less pretty, you know?
right, yeah. Wait, so would you identify yourself as an incel or what?
Oh, I had some kind of hostility towards women for like a year or two, maybe around like 24, 25, but I kind of recognized how that made me feel about myself, so I kind of put a stop to it pretty quickly. It's
That's it.
like I knew that this was not a good path to go down. Like if you don't like hot women, like you need to fucking like think long and hard about what's going on inside of you. And so I did, and so I got it under control.
But you are involuntarily celibate, correct?
That's not true. No.
Not true?
I'm not really horny. I haven't really been horny since I was like 25 or so. Like I like women a lot. I'm very interested in women, but I don't like need to, do things with them to make myself feel good.
That's it. Yeah, but like, so if you're not horny, like, what are your feelings towards, what do you describe your feelings towards, Dasha? 'Cause you seem to have, like, a great respect for, she's good looking.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that not, or?
no, it's like it's interest, but it's not like horniness, I guess you'd say. Like
Like if
what?
she approached you, you would not have sex with her, or
Well, let's just start from the start. Let's have a little conversation maybe, and maybe have a coffee or a drink and hang out for a bit, and then we'll see about that later on, you know?
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Do you think there's ever a possibility of that happening, or is it just like a fantasy?
Oh, sure. I know Dasha likes me, and maybe one day we'll be in the same city, and yeah, maybe we can figure something out.
Of course. Yeah, my understanding is I love whenever you post a screen cap from your like computer, I love zooming in on every single thing on the screen cap.
Yeah.
I figure out more about your psychology.
Yeah.
I noticed you posted DMs one time,
Yeah.
and on the side it said like Dasha sent you $100 or so.
Oh,
When did that happen?
no, that was for Christ Lover 2000 because she needed like cranial surgery, like her brainstem was off, and so she had that this spring in like Baltimore, and she needed a lot, like thousands of dollars. You have to cover like I think 30% of the cost, and then they'll do it for you, and maybe you can pay the rest back later, maybe you can't, but as long as you have a certain amount. So she was crowdfunding on GoFundMe, and Dasha gave her $100. I probably gave Ashley probably about $200, maybe $300 total over a year or two, because I think she's a valuable person, and I want her to be alive going forward.
You guys had he's not Canadian?
No, she's in Pennsylvania now, but
Oh, okay.
she was staying in L.A. with Angel for a while there.
Mm.
I gotta know
So, have you ever actually met Dasha in real life, or you just know her from
how.
podcasts,
Well,
Reddit,
you remember what I
Discord?
you remember what I said earlier, right? About not having been to most of the United States.
Right.
Yeah, so there's no possibility I would have met Dasha ever. No, I have not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're Brooklyn, right?
They're both living in Manhattan now. Last I heard, I think Dasha might be in
Oh,
Chinatown.
okay.
Yeah,
Podcast capital of the world.
I guess so. Yeah.
Like 80% of podcasts come out of New York.
Is that true?
I don't know the actual statistic. It's just my estimate.
Well, I'd like
I'm sure
to.
you run through the podcasts, it's all New York, DC, at least the political ones.
Well, one day I'd like to have a prominent podcast come out of Vancouver. But first, I have to build my skill. What?
You think this will ever become prominent, or?
Right now, I'm building up my skills. Maybe one day we'll see.
I mean, like, paying $6 a month is not bad for
Well, no, I'm not. I'm not even.
the
Right now, you get everything I've ever published. You don't have to pay a dime. But like, if people voluntarily want to give, but they can. Uh, Basically, once I feel like I'm creating podcasts that are so compelling that people want to and have to watch them, that's when I'm going to start thinking about, hey, maybe want to help me out a little bit. But you got to build.
Yeah, right. Well,
Go ahead.
of course, you can't come out the gates asking for money.
Yeah, unless you were like already extremely professional and polished and like getting like big name guests. I'm just, we're not quite there yet.
So where do you plan on taking this?
Oh,
Are you going to end up getting big name guests, or is it just going to be like people from Discord, or what?
I don't see any reason why I wouldn't eventually go on Red Scare or whatever. So we'll see.
You haven't been on Red Scare yet? I thought you had been on some podcast.
That was Girls Chat with Ashley and Angel.
Is that like an actual, like, on Apple Podcast, hundreds of listeners? Like, is that
No, I
a
pretty.
big one, or is that like,
Oh well, no, it wasn't very big. They might have been bringing in about somewhere between $300 and $600 a month at its peak. I'm not too sure.
oh, not bad at all?
Yeah, I gotta really pee.
Would you,
I gotta pee right now. Okay, I'll be right back.
before, not gonna hold you.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
I'm just gonna check the chat log again. Cassie says once I do the pod, it will blow up. Yeah, I would not disagree. Like it's always good to have hot women involved, and Cassie's a hot girl, and that gets a lot of viewership.
Well, you scrapped the Kathy pod. I could have made you blow up.
Well, I fell for the illusion that Kathy was selling of herself. I thought she was an intriguing, mysterious, deep, rich, hot girl on the make. But then I sort of realized, I saw through the illusion in that experience and realized she's just an ordinary girl creating all sorts of elaborate fantasies with no basis in reality. And she feels very sure that you should be impressed by her, but I was not impressed, so I wanted to let her know I'm out of here. I don't need to talk to you at all, so goodbye.
Would you say that everyone you've had on your talk show here is someone who's impressive in some way?
They were not selling.
Yeah, if you're scrapping podcasts because they're old.
No. She was selling. You just cut out there. I didn't hear anything you said in the last 10 seconds.
That was my end. I was just saying, like, if you scrapped her podcast because she's ordinary, that implies to me that everyone you've had on is extraordinary.
No. Here's the difference. Kathy's selling you this illusion of herself. This is the real Kathy. Once you see that gap is that big, you got a problem. My other guests were more like, here and here, or just on top of each other. They weren't selling me a pack of lies.
I see. So how did she sell you that pack of lies?
Well, just all her vivid fantasies and desires involving John Belushi and Jimmy Savile and various other dead celebrities.
She loves those celebrities that like nobody under 40 knows.
Yeah, she has very interesting tastes, and that's how she sells you the illusion. Very particular tastes.
So I'm curious here, like something. It's not a gotcha question. I'm not trying to embarrass you or anything, but this is something I'm genuinely curious about. Have you ever been in like a romantic relationship of any sort?
Yes, but mainly just online.
Unlike you've had like e-girlfriends or what?
Yeah, I've had some, basically 2 long-term e-girlfriends. One I met on ICQ in '99, and we were very heavily involved in chatting and sharing pictures and going on webcam and sending letters through basically 2002. And then in March 2010, some girl from Delaware saw my answers on girlsaskguys.com. She liked what she saw. She saw I had a link to my Facebook page, so she followed that and we started chatting, and we basically were very close friends through about 2015, where we started drifting apart. She got married to a guy that she had a lot of problems with, but they have kind of settled down now. They have a house together. They're planning their retirement, but we still email each other once in a while. So basically, me and Rebecca had a strong relationship for maybe like 5 years, you could say. And then my third ego.
Could you like help people or?
Say again?
Have you ever considered meeting up with any of these people, or
Well, yeah, that's what they both wanted, and they were not. Rebecca in particular was not happy once it became clear I was not gonna come fly to Philadelphia to see her.
didn't you?
I don't want to live in Delaware when I live in Vancouver, you know.
That's it. So, do you think that's like better or worse than like an actual like physical relationship?
Well, I wouldn't know, would I?
See, hold on, I'm getting a call.
Okay.
And
I will see what Cassie's been saying here.
it's just spam. Oh. It might have been something important, but alas. Yeah, but like just like in your like estimation, like what do you think would be better? I know you wouldn't know, but
Well, okay, I'll tell you. I mean, most relationships, when they break up, people are not on good terms anymore. They want to put it all behind them. They want to forget about all the great times they had, all the intimacy, all the wonderful feelings they had when they were fucking each other. And it's all in the rear view. And I would like it if when my relationships kind of fizzle out, that we're still basically buddies and we still want to talk once in a while. That would be nice, I think.
I think that's a feature of online relationships more than in person.
Well, let's say the what's going on behind you?
Looks like my cat's about to get herself stuck in my sink. There we go. What were you saying? Sorry.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, say like girls in high school I had a crush on, you know. Yeah, it'd be nice that I could talk to them once in a while too. Like, there's a girl I went to high school with called Jen Kipps, who I now follow on Instagram, and when she posts something really, when she posts a photo of herself looking really, really attractive or doing a little dance, I will leave a comment, and she will appreciate the comment, and we'll have a little back and forth. And so it's kind of, in the end, it's better for us to have that than for me and her to have had a steamy relationship at age 16 or 18, and we now never want to talk to each other again because there's too many hurt feelings. So I kind of feel like maybe in the end it's better to not think with your dick, you know?
Yeah, I noticed you do the same thing on Dasha's post too, which
What do you mean?
But like, oh, I've just seen you like leaving comments on those like on her Instagram posts.
Well, most guys, they will leave comments that are kind of boneheaded, like, oh my god, she's so hot, she's so pretty. It's like, don't you understand that a hot girl has heard that a billion times before and it does nothing for her? It's like, just use your little pinhead a little and come up with something a little more inventive and like subtle, and maybe the compliment is, just don't be so on the nose about it, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I am curious about like were your high school years like? You went to a normal high school, correct?
Yeah, I went to San Mimi.
Like not private.
Yeah, I went to San Mimi Secondary. It's about a kilometer east of my house. About 2,000 kids. Lots of very, very, very attractive young women in my grade. Yeah, that was the most notable thing about it.
What did you like do? Were you like an outcast, or were you involved?
I guess if you had to put one label on me, I would be kind of a loner, but maybe like computer nerds, basically. Like how I was into PC gaming, and at lunch I might spend time in the library reading Psychology Today.
Right. No, that's cool though.
But I could tell that these hot girls, they were interested in me, and that was really nice to notice.
You were ever involved in like extracurriculars or?
Yeah, well, do you know what IB is?
I don't.
International Baccalaureate. It's kind of like the high-end academic track in your senior years, like your last 2 years. So I went full IB. There's probably about 25 people who did, and maybe I think there's maybe 3 who lasted to the very end. I dropped out right at the end. What was I going to say? Yeah, so there was like a IB program which involves you with lots of extracurricular. Like we go play pool after on like a Friday together, or play floor hockey. We went on like a ski trip. We went on 2 hiking trips up to Black Tusk each September with Mr. Fathom, geography teacher. That was a lot of fun. We went down to Mount St. Helens, which blew up in 1980. So I get to see all the devastation. That's at the very southern end of Washington State. I think we went to see a opera once. Yeah, at Queen Elizabeth Theater. I think it was The Marriage of Figaro. It was like one of those dress rehearsal performances, so it was nice and cheap. We participated in like some kind of a quiz tournament once out in Coquitlam. We had Christmas parties, both Christmases. Yeah, basically there was all kinds of extracurricular activities involved in IB, which was kind of good. And there was like one hot girl in IB French and math, Selena, who I had the hots for, and I know she liked me, but nothing ever. Well, I wouldn't say nothing ever came from it, because she meant a great deal to me for those 2 years. We never became girlfriend and boyfriend, but maybe it's better that we didn't. I don't know.
I was told, and again, correct me if I'm like misconstruing things here. You claim that you had cyber sex with a girl over Discord. Is that true?
That is not true.
I see.
Do you remember who that was?
I don't remember which girl it was. I just know that you had claimed that you had cyber sex with someone. Maybe not over Discord. I don't know.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. That was on like MSN Messenger with like Courtney back in 2001, I think. A couple of times.
2001.
2000. Yeah.
2001. That's 9/11.
Yeah, and also Rebecca too, back in like 2010, 11, 12. A couple times. It's not so much having a cyber sex as kind of discussing your fantasies and desires, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I understand. That reminds me of one of your most like notorious takes was on the 9/11 first responders.
Okay.
I was just hoping you could elaborate on that.
Okay, well look, this whole hero worship business is a crock of shit as far as I'm concerned, because you can praise these hero firefighters who ran into the burning building to save innocent lives, but the fact of the matter is that all those suckers are dead, died a horrible death as the buildings came down. And what does it matter? What did it change? Like they're kind of doing their duty, but if they kind of had a higher intelligence, they would have had the good sense to stay the fuck away and save their own lives. Like, save your own life before you worry about anybody else. Think of your wife, think of your children, think of your neighbors, your mom and dad. Like, they're all going to lose you because you had to fulfill your heroic duty. Like, what does it matter? Just like, it's over. This building is fucked. Get the fuck away as fast as possible, and don't look back, because this whole thing is coming down. But of course, they don't know that. It's easy for me to say that, but I think if they had kind of grasped the magnitude of the plane strikes, they might have had sense enough to maybe not fulfill their duty and not be a hero. And I'd rather live with the kind of condemnation of as a coward for the next 5 or 10 or 20 years. And besides, they wouldn't get that. People understand. Like, they would understand. They'd be grateful. They'd be glad that you were alive.
I mean, I think that like placing the lives of like wanting to save other people before you save yourself, that's kind of like the essence of what makes someone brave, don't you think?
I'm talking about the realistic situation of how much damage those buildings took. Apparently, the critical thing that would have saved those buildings, the force of impact of the plane hitting it, blew off this kind of foam they sprayed on the steel girders, which is precisely to keep them from melting. If somehow they've been able to protect the steel girders from heat with like a stickier foam, then they probably would have survived, apparently. Like I saw.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
So let's say.
So the real heroes are.
Let's just say that foam was stickier and the buildings had stayed up. Then those firefighters' decision to do their duty and show up would have been fulfilled, because they would have got people out, perhaps. Yeah, they should have brought in some like Chinook helicopters with like ladders trailing down the side of the building. That would have saved some people, you know. Like if the
Yeah, right.
if the military had got more involved, like it was like more of a military operation to save the people who were trapped above the broken floors, you know. You need like the military involved, not the firefighters.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just like wondering. I'm a little like flex though. Like you don't think, just to clarify, so I don't like misconstrue you.
Yeah.
Don't think someone like risk their life to run into a burning building and try to save other people. You don't think they're brave?
I think they're stupid, frankly.
Can you apply that to every firefighter in every building ever, or?
I think you have to assess every situation as it comes up, and basically have a healthy amount of fear for what could happen to you, and grasp what that's going to mean for your loved ones when you're fucking burned to a crisp or buried in rubble. You know, value your own life as well as the people in there.
No, that's fair, but like, you don't really have time to assess things if someone just flew a bunch of planes into buildings.
This is what I always tell myself when things are starting to get a bit hairy. It's like panic is the enemy. Like it's much better to take 5 or 10 seconds to just really grasp the situation than to charge in and twist an ankle and fall into a river, or just spend that 10 seconds, that 30 seconds really thinking about how this might go before you commit. It's probably not going to make that much of a difference, that 10 seconds, that 30 seconds. And have some listen to your fear. It's like it's there for a reason.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Like basically, America likes to build up its heroes and worship them, and I think it's really insidious and evil, because they want you to sacrifice yourself. It's like, don't like just yeah. If you have a good chance of saving people, go ahead, be a hero. But if things are not looking good, just save yourself for God's sake.
If we're like talking about 9/11, I do want to hear. I recall the first one of these you did were cut off when you started talking about Osama bin Laden.
Okay.
I want to hear the rest of what you want to say there.
Oh, sure, yeah. That was with Maverick. Yeah. Yeah, people did not want to hear what I had to say. They're afraid of it, obviously. Basically, when the time that Osama first got the idea of doing 9/11, he was witnessing like Palestinian apartments getting shelled by American warships, and basically he understood at that point that we have to hit the Americans where they live. They have to teach them. We have to teach them what it means to be terrorized, like these Palestinians are getting terrorized right now. And so that's when he started coming up with the idea of some grand operation to really hit America where it lived.
Do you think it was justified or no?
It's not even a matter of justified. It's a matter of necessity. It's because the warfare is so asymmetrical. They have like no way of really landing a solid punch without resorting to such villainous tactics.
You do think it was like necessary?
Well, from his point of view, yeah. Like from the jihadist point of view, like if you want to really make a mark on the world, you're gonna have to hit them hard at a very important place. Do I think it was a wise decision? Oh my God, they're barbarians. They have no idea what they've done to the world, how they've broken it. It's been broken ever since. Like this was not a good idea, but they have their agenda, and they're gonna try to see it through.
Do you think, like, at the end of the day, Osama bin Laden was a good man or no?
I don't think. I think he's kind of above such moral judgments. I think he did what he did, and it had the effect that it had, and it doesn't matter what anybody says about it. Like his legacy is very real, no matter what words you might want to apply to it.
Right. What about Kobe? He's another notorious one.
I think I'm gonna wrap up the
Like,
session.
if you're
I'm gonna
walking in the spirit of...
Yeah, we can talk about this, and maybe we'll do another session another time. I've kind of had enough here. I want to take a break. Okay.
Okay.
So
That's fair.
I think we'll wrap it up for today. Thank you very much for joining me.
I appreciate you having me. Hopefully we can get another one in.
Yeah, I think this was an interesting discussion. I think people will find it fascinating at times. I hope.
Thank you for having me on, VranChat.
Awesome. By the way, I love the shirt. Very good choice.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye. That was good, right, guys?